Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah,
for entertainment purposes only.
Well, it's great to have you on another edition of Godzilla Wins. This is the #1 sports and analysis show in the nation. Joining me today, it looks like we have a very light crew right now. Coach Vince Mayako is with us. Sometimes in the summer, Vince, with a lot of the younger people we have on, they got things going on, and we just can't seem to round them up. But not sure. I think Mitch is off today with his swim team, and don't know where anybody else is. But hey, you know what? If there's any two guys in America who could carry a sports show for an hour, it's John and Vince. So we're good to go, and it's good to see you here. Vince, looking great today in your golf shirt.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying before we get into everything? Oh, here's Saxman. Okay,
there we go.
Are you enjoying your retirement?
Well, I think so. I spent a week up in Reno, Nevada, helping coach a 19U travel team. And this week on Wednesday, believe it or not, I'm heading your way, at least to the East Coast. We're doing a LA to New York 3-week travel ball adventure. And we're going to be stopping along the way at various sites. We're going to play some games at Field of Dreams, go to Niagara Falls, go to Cooperstown, and then finish up in Newark, New Jersey.
Well, listen, we need to get together. We're not that far from Newark. I could take the train up there, so let's definitely stay in touch. Let's introduce Chris Saxman, the indelible one. Chris, good to have you with us. We've got the this must be the baby boomer edition of the Godzilla Win Show.
I'm sorry, I'm the puppy here. I'm the puppy. I'm Gen Xer, man. I'm Gen Xer.
Saxman's the ex puppy, but everybody else good to go. It's great to have everybody with us, and great to see you, Saxman, as well. Got a lot to go over today. Let me just tell everybody that today's show and all shows here on Godzilla Wins are sponsored by WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com and also download the WV Sports Nation app, which is really a great app. And you just download that on Google Play or in the App Store. Just put in WV Sports Nation. And if you're a West Virginia University fan of anything, it doesn't matter. We cover it all. Rowing, rifle, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. It's all right there. And if you're in West Virginia, our Mountaineer Tailgate Show starts on, I think it's August 29th. It'll be 2 hours a day. I'm sorry, 2 hours before each West Virginia game. And it's starting 2 hours before the first Big 12 game, which I believe is Texas Christian opening with somebody, Baylor or something. I'm not really sure. But that's going to debut August 29th. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in to that in West Virginia. But for everybody else, it's great to have you with us. I want to throw this out there. People might not be aware of all this cool stuff going on. But one of my agency representatives had one of the clients on, Frank Zaccanelli, a couple months ago. You guys remember that. And they have access to all of the daily overnight ratings for all they pay a lot of money for. We, of course, the size of our company, are unable to do that. It doesn't make any financial sense for us. But he was able to get back to Zaccanelli and tell him that 2 weeks ago on Godzilla Wins, just on the radio alone, for those 2 hours, we had 51,000 people tuned in live on the radio. So our show is growing. We know it's got a cult following. Now that's apart from video and TV and all the other good stuff that goes on. The Getter Live and all that. So, it's a pretty good base for us. We do make picks on our show. So if you or someone has a gambling problem, just call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. And remember, for the picks that we make, we ask everybody, if you do gamble, gamble responsibly. Bet only what you can afford to lose. And for entertainment purposes only, as we do. We certainly don't bet our mortgage or rent on it. Although I have won, 5 in a row. 3 out of 4 last night, 8 out of my 9 MLB games.
Wow.
Go to GodzillaWins.com. I tell everybody, I got cold there for a while, you fade me. When I'm losing, just fade. But when I get hot, I get hot. I won 5 in a row and then 3 out of 4 last night. Lost one tough game. Tigers, I laid a run and a half. They won 2-1.
Everything else, Tampa Bay, easy winner. Astros, big night, easy winner there. And I think the Padres, I'm betting against the Marlins now every day. They suck. So,
Any wins at Del Mar?
I don't know. I didn't follow it. I had an event last night. How'd your wife do?
Well, after 0 for 3 using your advice, she went off the board and decided to pick a horse she liked in the 4th race. I don't know, I forget what the name was, and she didn't win with that one either. So, but no, I think later in the day, I think she got some winners with you.
Well,
So good job, John.
I mean, horse racing, it takes a while. And, for my theory, I only bet to win, as everyone knows. I don't bet exactas or place. It's just a bad bet. So I only bet to win. And I'm not betting three to 5 shots, so that the value is not there. So out of our 9 race card, in order for me to make money, I've got to win at least 3 races. If you win 5 or 6, you're going to have a good day. But if you go 0 for 9, and you get a lot of horses like I did in our event last week, I had 3 horses in a row that came in second by a neck. You're just not going to have a good day. So, it is what it is. But look, guys, we got a lot to go over today, and I know we have a very detailed run sheet, but I'm going to start. I'm going to start with ESPN. We've got layoffs going all over the place. Also, they've got a tremendous amount of negativity going on in the way they've laid these people off. They laid a bunch of people off. They were finding out by reporters. They were finding out on TV. They were finding out on a Twitter feed. The bosses didn't tell them. And apparently the culture there has really gone downhill since it's been taken over. I just wanted to know if you guys wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, I'll start if you don't mind, Sax. I mean,
go ahead.
I think
I'm still in my first cup of coffee.
Yeah, I think all 3 of us can go back in time when Berman and Linda Cohn and Stuart Scott. That was, you got your daily dose of at the end of the day of what happened in the world of sports. And I think ESPN 25 years ago was a pretty trusted source, but we've seen over time, obviously with Disney and buying ESPN and that whole thing, where we got a little sideways, and it really wasn't just about sports. It was about opinions and things along that nature. And I'll be honest, man, I can't even remember the last time I've seen the Sports Center. I mean, the only time I turn on ESPN to watch a live broadcast of college football or Monday Night Football or whatever the case might be, College World Series. But hey, you know what? It's a business, and if they choose to fire individuals, that's their prerogative. And I mean, I might not agree with how they fire them, but it's their business. They want to run it that way, fine. And I will not watch Sports Center, but I'll watch Monday Night Football and college football on Saturdays.
I think that any company that goes through changes is going to go through culture shifts. I mean, ESPN now is a major company. And look, companies want to restructure. I mean, we just sent an email out the other day and restructured our company. So either you're going through growth or you're going through a decline in revenue. I mean, companies, in order to stay ahead of the curve, I mean, they had a cost issue there, so they restructured their company. And when you look at a company like ESPN, when you look at their cost structure, what is the number one cost they're going to have? It's gonna be the talent. And so a lot of these guys that have been there 3 decades, and they kept getting raises. They're up in the $500,000 range, and basically they figured out we could cut those out, get somebody a couple 3 out of college broadcast school, and they can make $100,000. So we can save millions of dollars. I think that's part of it. And I think ESPN too. Look, and I'm not defending the way they did this. But they're looking for fresh talent. Everybody is always looking for fresh talent in our business. You want fresh, you want new, you want younger that can connect better. So I think that's what they were doing too, looking for fresher, younger talent. But I mean, that's the problem. When you work for a company, and you're getting that paycheck, and somebody else is signing it, well, they can basically within the laws of the labor laws of the United States, Saxon, they can basically do what they want, and they don't have to be nice. They don't have to fire you with HR and give you the nice severance package and shake your hand and have a party. They can just put it out on Twitter, you're fired, or it can leak out. I mean, there's no laws against that. It's bad form. We wouldn't do it here, but we fired people that people weren't happy about. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it's never easy letting someone go out of a company, especially when you're relatively successful. It's not like ESPN was broke. They're just going through changes. They had to retool. They retooled. They had some acquisitions here and there along the way. And labor is always your number one cost in business, especially when it's a talent, entertainment talent driven reality here. But no one's saying that about Stephen A. Smith or Pat McAfee, because they drove eyeballs and ratings. That's what it comes down to. I like Ryan Clark. I don't agree with him, especially politically. And he's controversial, but I like the fact that he's unafraid to speak his mind. That said, you're dancing with the devil when you are in an entertainment business and you're not entertaining, or you're offensive, and you push people away. Now, and I don't think it was, he resorts to a racial issue. I'm like, well, Carl Ravitch. I mean, are you anti-toupee too? I mean, you're just not going to be for Carl. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's just business. And Ryan's a talented guy, smart guy. I really like him. And after he was fired, I posted on his tweet. I'm like, I really like the fact that you made me think. But that doesn't mean you're going to draw ratings. If he was drawing ratings, he'd be getting a raise. And they look at everything in real black and white terms, real numbers. Everything is measured like they did in the NFL. If you're performing, you're going to get a raise. And he wasn't, as far as the ratings and what the company needed. Did they do it poorly? Yeah. Okay. What else? What else we got?
Right.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Well, don't make it about race if it wasn't about race.
It had nothing to do with race. I mean, look, the eye opener here, and I kind of remember this. You go back in time a little bit. I mean, when we look at ratings, we're not looking at daily ratings on our thing. We get, we get the spring book and the fall book. That's it. That's all we can afford in our, the size of our company. And then, you get all the analytics once a month from our digital platforms. But I can remember back when I was on CNN. I mean, they would give you overnight ratings of your segment.
Oh yeah.
Like I would get when I went on with Donald Lemon 3 times a week at night. Mm-hmm. The next day, about 12 o'clock, I would get the overnight ratings for that segment of Don's show. That's how definitive they have it. Mm-hmm. And if your ratings were dropping during your segment, you got fired. I mean, they didn't care back then. Now we're kind of out of that, because I'm not following that closely. But it's like the guy that called me up the other day and said, you had 51,000 tuned in across your radio, just your terrestrial radio, when Zach Anelli was on in that, 1 hour period. We don't really live anymore in that world, but they do. Mm-hmm. So their ratings go down. You're out based on the money you're getting paid. And a lot of these sports writers, I don't know why they have to bring politics into it. It's not their job. It's not why they're there. And it turns people off. And I don't know why they do it. And they're all liberal. I mean, there's conservatives. All these sports writers and commentators are all left-wingers. And it's hurting their audience. Just talk about your discipline and shut up. They can't do it.
Well, we've talked about the differentiation. When you talk about politics, culture is political, sports is political. But when you get partisan and you're off brand or off topic, then it gets difficult for people to go, well, that's not what we're talking about here. Because when we talk about the SEC, there's going to be a political ramification just about anything in politics, because people are paying attention to it. And therefore, de facto, it's going to be political. You can't help it. But when you say things that are, frankly, indefensibly wrong, I mean, obviously wrong, and you're going, you're going to turn people off. rather than bring people in for the conversation. Have some hard truth conversations, fine. Being comfortable being uncomfortable, fine. Let's do that. But you can't have a default that's like not defensible, and that's what I think Ryan Clark fell into. But why is it about Ryan Clark? It's not. It's also about Carl Ravitch and Tom Pelissero and all the other folks who got laid off. And it's really not about them. It's just about the changing nature of the business.
Right.
If you think you're that great, go start your own show. Go sign on with another network. Someone else will hire you if you're that good. It's right. Like, LeBron James. We'll talk about him. He's on the run sheet. He's a great, talented player, but he's at the end of his career. What's his value? His value is not $50 million a year. His value is much different based upon his negotiation with the team he wants to play on. He didn't go to the highest bidder. He went to the team that he wanted to play on to win a championship in his last year or two. Good for him. The hell do I care?
Yeah, who cares? I mean, he's got that right.
Right. So, but why is this all of a sudden about Ryan Clark? Was he treated poorly? Yeah. Okay. What's the best way to do that? ESPN, make the changes internally and move on. After a while, the story just, suffers.
Yeah, so he got fired. I mean, so
Right.
who cares how he got fired? They didn't do anything illegal. I mean, there's no law that says, you have to have a sit-down meeting with somebody. It leaked out. He got fired, and he didn't like the way it was done. Meantime, he's making, $750,000 or something. And like you say, if you're that good, go start your own network and have at it.
Hey, John, can I jump in here again?
Yes, please.
The thing is, I think most of America that's interested in sports could give a rip about Ryan Clark being fired. The only one that cares, and you brought it up, is the sports writers. And they're the ones all up in arms when a Jamil Hill gets fired or Ryan Clark is fired, And most of America that watches sports, like Ryan who, Jamil who,
right,
Carl who,
right.
All I care about is my Dallas Cowboys or my Toronto Maple Leafs or whatever your team is and their favorite athlete. They could care less.
Right.
Okay, who's delivering the news? As long as I'm getting the news, I'm getting the results, and let's move on.
Yeah, well, I agree with you, but if the constant result and default for a Jamel Hill or a Ryan Clark, and I really feel for Ryan Clark because he took this really personally, and I looked at his bio and his history. I'm like, that guy has. It looks like some obvious childhood trauma in there, because it meant a lot to him to be a part of something, and to be a part of that team at ESPN. And it looked like it was gut wrenching for him. And I really hope he examines his life and what's going on there, because I think he's very talented. But when your default is grievance that has nothing to do with the game or the sport or the participants or what you're analyzing there, you're off topic, you're off brand. And I've come to narrow things down a lot. You guys are older, than most of the audience ESPN is probably delivering to. But in life, I'm more wise than smart, I guess. But everything relationship-wise boils down to a plus-minus for me. After a while, you're either a plus or a minus in the situation. And he obviously became more of a minus than a plus for ESPN. It's time to go.
Yeah. Well, thanks to my friendship with James Ferrier, I was able to spend some time with Ryan Clark, and I could say personally, one-on-one, nice guy, really, really fun guy, lighthearted guy. But in the business, when he was doing commentary, he became a race hustler, and I don't think that people want to hear that all the time. They don't want to hear Jamel Hill talk about everything in terms of race, everything through the lens of race. And Ryan, bless his heart, that became his lane, and I just think that's not something people would want to Coach's point.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the news of the day, sports wise. We don't want to hear about everything having to be racist and so on and so forth all the time. It's you're beating a dead horse, man.
What they fail to understand, almost like Cool Hand Luke, right? We have a failure to communicate.
Yeah.
What they fail to understand is the overwhelming majority of sports enthusiasts that consume sports broadcast do it to escape exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that is why our company, when we've melded the two audiences, America First, conservative talk, and sports broadcast, with no left-wing commentary in there or political commentary.
Right.
That's why it's been successful.
Right.
Because we understand that our audience, they don't want they want an escape like I did.
Right.
Like I
Something
put
else.
the Astro game on last night when Ann and I got home from a party with a friend of ours, and they're losing 5-0 to the White Sox. Like, I don't want any more politics. I had enough all week. I had 50 hours of it all week. I want to see somebody get a hit with guys on base. That's it.
Right?
You want to escape, and if I'm going to get that jammed down my throat again, I'm out.
Yeah. Now, most of the time when I'm watching I came home last night from a week of travel business, and I had some dinner with my wife, and came at 8 o'clock. She's like, "So we're going to go to our separate corners now?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're done. I need to go chill and go into my cave." And I turned on games. I have multiple TVs, and I've turned on the games, but no sound. I just want to just look at the game. Okay, fine. I'll follow it, but don't tell me what's going on. I'll figure it out for myself. I just needed less noise, and with guys like Ryan Clark just don't get that. If you want to be political, do it on your own terms. Have your own Substack. Go to Twitter. Do whatever you want on social media. But when you're on for the team, you're on for the team. How am I driving ratings for ESPN? John, I always ask you, how can I help your business? Yeah. What can I do to bring more eyes to your prize? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bring your wife out more is how we get more. Okay, Michelle.
That's quite enough out of you. Let's turn to something else.
More Michelle is all I know. Anyway, it was great to see. It was great to see Michelle last week at our suite in Colonial.
We had a great time.
Michelle looked fantastic as always. Let's get to the WNBA, guys. We're going to get to that in a minute. Quick.
WNBA?
Yes, WNBA. Women's National Basketball Association.
Jesus.
It's on the run sheet. Jack actually put it on the run sheet.
Okay.
We've got clips coming up from Clay
courtesy of me.
Yeah. Yep. But this thing is
clips.
Oh yeah, this thing is out of control. But first, a word from our sponsors, without which none of us would be here. We'll be right back.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right medicine and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pierce 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Pennsylvania's big casinos want it all. Your money, your games, your choice. They rake in millions, then lobby Harrisburg to shut down the small businesses that dare to compete. Bars, VFWs, local spots, crushed so the casino giants can get even richer. They want to rig the system against you, but Pesomatic is fighting back. Skill games, fair play, real competition. No monopolies, no backroom deals. Just your right to play and win. Call Harrisburg now. Stand with small business. Stand with Pesomatic. Pesomatic, leveling the playing field. Paid for by Pesomatic.
John Frederick.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild,
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Frederick Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the social.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
Godzilla Wins, where you get the best insight and best information on how to win the most money ever.
Guess what? GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
Back to the show.
Okay, guys. Great to have you with us back on Godzilla Wins. More picks, more winners. Let's talk more winners. Go to GodzillaWins.com. Get my picks up about, today they'll be up early. They'll be up by noon because of the Saturday games, normally about 3 o'clock. Saxman with us, the old ball coach, Vince Mayako. Dan Hobgood has joined us. Dan, good to have you back. And
Good to be here.
Let's just go to Caitlin Clark right now and this mess going on in the WNBA. This woman is getting beat up every single night. The refs won't do anything. The commissioner won't do anything. It has really gotten ugly. I talked to somebody the other day on my show, and I agreed with him. He said, if I was her father, I'd pull her out of this league because the woman is going to get hurt.
Yep.
And what they're doing to her, and nobody does anything about it, which is incredible to me. She's getting beat up every day. And let's get to a clip here. Open this up. Here's Clay Travis a couple of days ago talking about it. Al, if you've got that, let's roll it.
I want to bring up what Sophie Cunningham risked by speaking truth to power on the trans issue. Let's watch what she said.
I said what I said. I think it's kind of common sense. And I think I'll always believe in that. I think it's really important to protect children. And that's little girls who are also involved in that category. And so I stand on what I said, and I always believe that.
Clay, again, that's a courageous stance. They're talking about it's courageous for, black lesbian athletes to say this or that. But I think it's courageous to say what she said, sadly, just to stand up for women in sports.
Yeah, and it goes directly to what she does for a living. She's the anti-Megan Rapinoe. She's saying to all the little girls out there, you can grow up and be me, and you need to be protected from men in your locker room and boys trying to play your sport and take your spot. And I encourage everybody out there to support Sophie Cunningham. I love when she was grilled about this by the reporters covering the WNBA. She said, I said what I said. That was the first quote that she gave when they asked her whether she was going to stand behind it. And look, this is basic common sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why does this matter? I mean, I guess my first question is, why are you even asking these questions? Why don't they just play ball, and why don't they take care of Caitlin Clark, who's getting beat up every night, who without her, there wouldn't even be. The WNBA, guys, has never made money. The NBA funds it. It's a money losing proposition. Somebody said to me the other day, I think it was Neil on my show, said, have you ever watched an entire WNBA game from start to finish? I don't think anybody ever has. So, I mean, look, guys, just weigh in here. They got to do something to protect this woman. She got beat up.
Yeah, I agree. I probably watched more WNBA in the last 2 weeks than I have in my entire life. And I'm watching the Indiana Fever. I want to give them as much good ratings as I possibly can because Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and the Indiana Fever need to be, they're the marquee team in the league without question. I'm watching a game. It was the day after the UFC fight where Sophie Cunningham was one of the ring girls, and Dana White, man, that guy. You talk about the best commissioner in all of sport is Dana White, and the worst commissioner in all of sport is the commissioner of the WNBA. So you got polar opposites there. But the next night, Sophie goes off. She hits like 6 of 7 threes. Brings energy to the arena. After the game, immediately after the game, Dana White is there hugging her and shaking her hand. And the announcers say nothing. And they don't interview her after the game. They interviewed somebody that maybe scored, 18 points. But Sophie Cunningham, she was the star of the game, and especially the star of the weekend, being at the UFC and then dropping 6 of 7 threes. You talk about a marketing nightmare. The WNBA does not know how to market, and they should be marketing Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark. I think I saw something the other day that they're banning the pointing that Sophie Cunningham did several weeks ago as well too. I mean, it's just it's crazy.
Dan, Chris,
Look. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Look, Coach hit it right on the head. You've been watching the WNBA for what reason?
Caitlin Clark.
Controversy. And it's nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. This is how you draw eyes on the prize. We talked about this in the first segment on ratings. I think this is probably intentional. And the fact that they're drawing more people to watch it drives up their ratings and it drives up more revenue for their ad space. It's not a great product. It's never going to be a great product. But some people watch it. Enough people watch it. But it is a subsidiary of a subcontractor for the shoe companies. Okay. That's just what the NBA is. I mean, it's a vessel for selling shoes and whatever other products that they're selling online or in the ad space. Okay, fine. It's a deteriorating product in my mind, the NBA, and they got to make some changes. But to Coach's first suggestion there, the only reason he's doing it is the conversation around Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, who are great basketball players, but they're not the only league players, and they're probably not the best in the league, the top, but they're really good. What is it? Caitlin Clark has been suggested she's 25% of the revenue for the WNBA. And I said this on social media a couple of weeks ago, start your own league, do your own thing. You don't need the WNBA, Caitlin, to make money in this business, in this world. You don't. They need you. It's like the SEC and the NCAA. The SEC does not need the NCAA anymore. That's just a hard, cold, mathematical reality. And the same thing holds here for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Clay Travis, I think in cut 2 of the clips that we have, I think he suggests also that Caitlin Clark should just start her own league, recruit enough players for 8 teams and just do it. That she's the reason people are tuning in.
Right.
And you don't need the WNBA. Why put up with this crap? If they're not going to treat you like a star, make yourself the star.
Right.
So why are they allowing her to get beat up? Like, what is the purpose? I mean, you watch some of these clips. I mean, the one where she got punched in the throat, the flagrant fouls.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now I know she does her share of taunting, but why are they allowing this to happen? Let's get to Travis again. Cut 1. Roll that out.
As far left wing as the average political journalist is, the average sports media journalist is further left wing than that. The sports media is more biased to the far left than the political media is. And so within the prism of identity politics, which is all that left-wing analysis can exist within, as a straight white woman, Caitlin Clark is a threat to a lesbian black league. And so everything that she does cannot stand alone, as it should in all of athletics, where the best man or woman, not the best man pretending to be a woman, thank you, Sophie Cunningham, for saying it, should win. Right? And Caitlin Clark right now is one of the best players in the WNBA, and she's straight and she's white, and the league is falling apart as a result. If Caitlin Clark had the exact same talent, but she were a black lesbian, she would be celebrated in this league.
Okay, guys, he said it. That's the third guy that I've heard say that. It's pretty in your face. If you look at the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Travis is that far off here, guys.
But I don't think it's racial, as much as it could be, a gender or sexual orientation. Quite frankly,
heterophobia.
In college softball, how do you determine who's the lesbian player and who's not? The heterosexual players wear ribbons in their hair, or they used to. That was the differentiation on the field. If it's coming down to beyond, because if it were racial, why did guys talk about trash talking Larry Bird and being great? They dealt with it. They dealt with it because they welcomed the competition. They didn't make it racial about Larry Bird, and yet that time period, Larry and Magic, there were obvious racial realities to it, but it wasn't preyed upon by people saying, the Boston Celtic fans are all white. Okay, so, and the Boston fans did get racist at some of the other, badly in the stands, and famously so in Boston, unfortunately. But on the court, you didn't see it. Here, you do. So it's probably a combination, probably more so of the heterosexual, homosexual versus race. But I think the race exacerbates it, quite frankly. For the audience.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar weighed in on this about a week or two ago, where he exactly the same thing. I mean, he defended the black lesbian players, and he said that Caitlin Clark is not the face of the WNBA, and it's a disrespect to those that paved the way for her. Well, okay, so LeBron James, Michael Jordan, everybody's the face of the NBA, your stars. It does not negate what Kareem did or what Wilt did or what Bob Cousy did back in the day. If you're the face of a certain league, that's a positive. And for him to sit there and say that Caitlin Clark being the face of the WNBA is disrespecting the trailblazers of the WNBA is like, what are you smoking, Kareem?
Yeah, Kareem's a really smart guy, but he's really wrong on this one. Your brand is your brand. Who the fans show up to pay attention to is the brand of the organization. That's the face of the organization. Let's just deal with it. And the simple fact is, if Caitlin Clark was black, we would not be talking about this, and she would not be being beaten up on the court. So there's a reality here that the WNBA has to deal with. And the flagrant fouls, and you have to defend your players. I mean, I just don't get what the NBA is not doing here. There's some obvious things here. And if it's racial, God help us, as we go down and the WNBA tries to grow. But I don't know what's rated. I don't know what the ratings are. I don't care. I don't watch it.
No, they suck.
You see the clips. You see the clips, and you go, "What the hell y'all doing?"
The ratings suck. The ratings suck. They can't make money. The NBA funds it. Adam Silver's an idiot. We all know that. I mean, the whole thing is going down. I don't see how it survives. And I don't know, both of you guys have made a good point. If she was a lesbian, would she be getting beat up? Probably not.
I don't know.
If African-American, would she be getting beat up? I don't know. So I really don't know. But the fact that she's, white and has a boyfriend seems to be the problem. I mean, I don't know how this league survives through this. I mean, it's crumbling around us. Why would you watch a game to see this lady getting pummeled at every turn?
She's bringing revenue to your sport, which is paying you. Charles Barkley speaks very powerfully to this about how Bird and Magic saved the NBA, and that he sort of followed on with Jordan as the league grew, as the tension between the Lakers and the Celtics, the bi-coastal teams, brought more viewers to the WNBA, more people to the stands, more teams to the league. That was them, and there was a racial reality to it, but they didn't exacerbate it and beat each other up over it. Can you imagine if Larry Bird said, "What the hell with this? I'm going to go play in Europe. See you, fellas." The NBA probably folds under because no one's watching it anymore. But the reality was Larry Bird was a great ball player, so Charles Barkley loves Larry Bird because he brought more people to help pay Charles Barkley, and he got it, And right. The players here have just got to deal with this reality.
I don't think anybody's saying that Caitlin Clark should get special preferential treatment. Let's not beat the crap out of her.
Right. I mean, intentionally, it's obviously intentional. If this was Major League Baseball and they were obviously throwing at him, like
you
Jackie
get people
Robinson,
thrown out of games,
right? Yeah. And it's like Caitlin Clark is breaking the color barrier in reverse here. Not that it's a reverse to break a color barrier, you can't. But like WNBA players, what are you thinking? They should be having their team huddles going, guys. She's bringing more people to the stands. It's going to pay us in the future. Talk about disrespecting. They're disrespecting the revenue that Caitlin Clark brings in. They're disrespecting the fans that want to see Caitlin Clark.
Al Green makes a good point in the chat. Al says, well, if it's racial, then why are the other white girls getting beat up? Like, let's look at Paige Bueckers, right? White girl, number 1 draft pick, playing very good basketball. I think she's with
really
Dallas. Mm-hmm. Playing good ball. She's with Dallas. She's not getting beat up. Why are they just beating up on Clark?
Well, I think Caitlin, she came in with a lot of fanfare, obviously at Iowa, And she was kind of, let's be honest, she was a little polarizing in Iowa. She would get in referees' faces and opponents' faces. And remember, that's where her and Angel Reese, the whole, competitive Angel versus Caitlin started was, I believe, in the Final Four. Yeah, exactly. That whole aspect. And it kind of built upon itself. And we
But that
saw,
never seemed racial or lesbian versus heterosexual.
I agree.
Not then.
That just seemed like two very competitive women athletes that didn't like each other because they played on opposite teams. They were on the same team, they'd be hugging. So that I never felt there was anything with that, but just pure like, I'm going to beat you because I'm better than you. And then the opposite. And, LSU and Angel Reese basically kicked the crap out of Iowa. And then, she pointed to a ring. I mean, that's what sports is about.
Sure.
That's a good thing. But what we're seeing now,
obviously,
why don't they beat up on Paige?
Well, maybe Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin.
Maybe Caitlin Clark is the one who's doing all the chirping and do all the trash talking, and we don't know or see it, or I don't know where it's occurring, or I don't know where the antipathy comes from, or just because it started in college and it carried over, and people are going to circle up and support their own teams or whatever. But to Al's point, it's not Paige Buchers and it's not Sophie Cunningham so much as it is Caitlin Clark is the target. There's a lot of realities here. Either way, any of this is not good for the game.
She's the face of the league, though, and I think that's where the resentment comes in. Is that I don't think it's necessarily she's white, she's straight. It's white, straight, and face of the league instead of us. I think that's if there is the blankest component to all this, I think it comes in with the fact that Caitlin Clark has usurped a lot of the players in the WNBA who previously got attention, and they don't like that in combination with the other stuff.
Well, look, when things are going south, you gotta the WNBA is crumbling. Okay, and it started last year. Remember the finals, right? It was like the Fever and who was it? Vegas or somebody. And I
had Vegas.
Right, they had the big brawl, and that got out of hand. And then you had the coach of Vegas basically saying that the whole thing was rigged. The refs were rigged. They were getting all the bad calls. But Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner. She has to go. I mean, when you're the commissioner and your league is crumbling around you, I mean, you got to fire the person at the top. And ESPN speaking about ESPN, they dropped the bombshell the other day. So 24 stakeholders, team execs, owners, agents, players, telling ESPN that Kathy Engelbert's leadership, they said, was dismissive, condescending, out of touch, and multiple sources say she's out after 26.
Oh, wow.
To save this league, I'd fire her now. I'd just get her out of there now. I don't think they can wait till the end of the season.
Yeah, she was supposed to be a guest on the Dan Patrick show, I believe, yesterday or a day before, and she left him hanging with no notice at all. And then after the fact, she makes a statement saying, well, her PR people said that she couldn't make it. So she's not helping herself because obviously a Dan Patrick show is a pretty marketable product where you can go up there and basically defend yourself and answer some questions and at least make it seem a little more transparent. I mean, but yeah, she has to go. And she needs to go now.
What's going on with the ratings anyway?
The ratings have tanked.
Have they? I don't know.
The ratings have tanked. The revenue has tanked. They continue to lose money. In 30 years, they can't turn a profit. They lose money.
Amtrak.
Well, Amtrak is government subsidized because, we need a national train system, Dan. So, but that's possible. We can get into that Monday morning. You want to bring up, I'll defend Amtrak at 6 a.m. Not right now. I will defend them. And it's a great train system. And if you're a national powerhouse country, you need a friggin' train system. I don't even know why you brought that up to get me started.
Sorry.
Just push the button, right? Like, let's push this button, get you on.
It's a good regional train service from Richmond to Boston. That's about it.
Oh, come on. I'm not even going there.
Apparently you are.
He has to go.
I said it was relatively good between Richmond and Boston.
We're not talking about Amtrak, okay? Call in Monday. I'll
That's
defend.
highly unlikely.
I tell you what. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to a quick word from our sponsors, Al, so I can get rid of the Amtrak segment. And when we get back, we will talk about the end of the WNBA. We'll finish that. And then we'll talk about no baseball in 2027, because that's happening. When we get back, our panel, no Amtrak. I love Amtrak. We'll be right back.
I love Amtrak too.
I like Amtrak.
You hear a lot about weight loss injections because the results are dramatic, but injections aren't for everyone. So doctors created a new generation weight loss supplement. This is non-prescription lean, and the science behind it is impressive. The studied ingredients in lean are intended to address weight loss in 3 powerful ways: help maintain healthy blood sugar, help control appetite, and help convert fat into energy so you burn it faster.
Get 20% off with discount code Godzilla at takelean.com. Code Godzilla at takelean.com.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com.
Godzilla Wins, where you get the best insight and best information on how to win the most money ever.
Guess what? GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
You heard the man. The all-new GodzillaWins.com is all about winners, with fresh daily picks by J-Fred and your favorite players from the Godzilla Wins team. Get your hot takes from the show, then click the website for the dough. GodzillaWins.com.
GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
Let's get back to the show that's all about winning dough. Godzilla Wins. Let's talk more winners.
I love that mantra, guys. I actually came up with it. Al, great job running these ads, Al. These show has definitely grown since back in the day. So thank you, guys. And thank you for doing that. Okay, let's get off this. WNBA is crumbling. I think they got to fire Kathy Engelbert. I think we all agree on that. And they got to figure out how they're going to save this league. It could be a good product. Right now, it's garbage, and it's losing money, and it's never made money, and it never will until they figure this out. And also, it was Engelbert who, when they were criticizing the referees, told the Washington Post, winning teams never complain about the officials. So, she's like, she has to go. Let's get to Major League Baseball. We're not going to get to the games. We'll do that after the top of the hour. I just want to focus right now, guys, on the collective bargaining agreement. And during the All-Star game, MLB owners running ads. I thought this was brilliantly done, running ads basically defending their position that there needs to be a salary cap and that there needs to be a floor and that we need some form of parity within Major League Baseball so we don't get 2 or 3 teams buying up all the players. I think we all agree that it needs a salary cap. Nobody disputes it. I don't think the Major League Baseball Players Association, led by Bryce Harper, they're not going to go for it. I think they see all the money that's being made. The game has exploded. I think they're going to stand firm. That's why I think there's going to be a lockout, and this thing is not going away. Owners got one shot to solve this. One. Yeah. That's going to be in the 27th season after this thing expires. Let's go around the horn, get what you think. Start with the old ball coach. Vince Maiaco.
Yeah, we've obviously talked about this quite a bit over the last year or so, the potential work stoppage of 2027. I agree, John. I think it's going to happen, a work stoppage. Now, can they salvage part of the 2027 season? It's possible. I guess my wishful thinking is if there is a work stoppage to begin in 2027, that hopefully cooler minds can get together and understand the importance of the salary cap for the better of the game, but also the salary floor, which will increase financial contracts for some of the lesser known players that come into the league. One thing I'd like to see too with this collective bargaining agreement is throw some love towards the minor league kids as well too. I mean, these minor league players, they might get drafted and get a nice signing bonus, but after that, their monthly salary is probably less than minimum wage.
Yeah, it's awful.
And when you're an A-ball, you're bunking in an apartment with 4 other teammates, especially if you're from the Dominican Republic, or Cuba or wherever. So we need to see Major League Baseball has to address that aspect of it as well too. My hope is if there is a work stoppage that they can figure things out by the All-Star break of 2027.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I'm with Coach. I'm hoping that by All-Star break of next year, cooler heads have prevailed and we have an agreement. While the owners are running ads in their favor, during the All-Star break, you had Paul Skeens, Bryce Harper, Juan Soto, among others, saying absolutely no way, no how to a salary cap. So maybe the compromise is a solid floor. I don't know. Maybe that's enough, at least for the time being.
No.
You're shaking your head. No, I don't know.
There's no way you're going to agree to a floor without a cap. I mean, all that does is drain more money out of the system. I mean, that makes no sense. Yeah, if you're a Pirates fan, or you're begging for a floor, but you can't have a floor without a cap. I mean, the floor is what you are giving to the ball players to get a cap. And this is the reason I think you're going to get the stoppage is, who did you hear from? Right? All the guys getting bajillions of dollars.
Yes.
Those are the guys complaining.
Yeah.
You didn't hear about the guy that's at the league minimum. You didn't hear about them. You didn't hear about the rookies coming up playing for rookie pay. You didn't hear about any of the lower level players. All you heard from was the big stars with $800 million lifetime generational wealth contracts. That's all you heard from. And I think they got an imaging problem because I don't really care what Juan Soto says. The hell do I care? Or any of these people making, $800 million. That's like ridiculous. So they don't want a cap because they want other people to be able to make that as well. But it's the guys at the bottom that are struggling. I think the game can't survive without it. Because what's going to happen? The Dodgers are going to win again, and then they're going to go out again, and then they're going to buy all the players again. And if you look at what the Dodgers, and I was going to ask this question if they called on me in the White House with the Dodgers in, like, where's the president stand on a salary cap here? Because there's going to be no baseball. But if you look at what the Dodgers did, all you got to look at is Kyle Tucker, 270 hitter, average outfielder, great guy, okay? No doubt about it. They pay him $275 million to get away from the Cubs. They didn't even need him. They bought him to take him off the market so the Padres couldn't get him. You can't run a league this way and have it sustain itself.
Yeah, and also, John, I believe the owners are proposing to eliminate the deferred payments at the back end of the contract,
Absolutely.
like the Dodgers did with Ohtani, right?
Ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, it is ridiculous.
We'll see what happens. Now, the argument against it is, other than the big money players, is going to be, well, look, we have parity, right? Look at all these teams that are fighting to get in. Well, they're fighting to get in because nobody's playing well. That's why the Astros, 5 games over 500, have a 4-game winning streak, and now they're like a game out because nobody in that division's winning. Nobody in the AL Central's winning. So you're the White Sox, you're 2 games up, you got a 2-game lead. All these teams in the wild card. That's going to be their argument, that there is parity, but there's not. Just because teams are in it, because you have watered down the system to get in, doesn't mean there's parity.
Well, Jeff, to your point, you get an occasional Kansas City Royals championship or whatever else, but almost every year, if not every year, the final 4 or 8 teams, you got New York, you got LA, you got Chicago. It's the big market teams that are always in the mix, regardless of what other underdog story that you may have. But so, I mean, we obviously need something to be done. What will be the breaking point between an unstoppable force and an immovable object? Owners and players, who will blink first? I don't know.
When you look at the actual game itself, and when we get in these conversations, whether it's the NBA, WNBA, MLB, NFL, I look at the quality of the game, the quality of the product on the field. Is it something that the viewers want to engage in? Right now, there are 9 batters hitting 300 or above. 9. Major League Baseball is going to have a problem long term if they don't start solving some of the aspects of the game itself. From an entertainment value perspective, when you go to minor league games and they're doing, hot dog eating contests and T-shirt throws and this kind of stuff, and you look at the Savannah Bananas and what they've developed into. The television audience is what really drives Los Angeles, the local revenues there, and they're able to withstand that because they have 30 million in their viewership in that basin right there. It's all about television money. And they've got to legitimately and above board split it with the athletes while they're there, and take care of the athletes, to Coach's point, down in the minors as well. And look, if you're making league minimum, you're doing okay, and they're going to get a big bump in this salary floor. And for the players to be unwilling to move off of a salary cap without discussion of what that cap actually is, when you get down to the negotiation, it's going to fall on deaf ears for the audience. And by the way, the United States and the rest of the world was not paying attention to it in the last 6 weeks when the World Cup was on. We have other things to do with our time than watch Major League Baseball. If they do a lockout, it's going to be real tough getting that money back, and the viewers back, and the fans back. I remember the mid-'90s when this happened. It was ugly, and the fans said, blank you too. We don't need this. We'll go somewhere else. And it's unfortunate, but I'm going to side on getting the deal done between the players and the owners, and that shouldn't take the threats of a walkout and a strike to do this, or a lockout to do this.
Who gets hurt more with a lockout? Vince? Owners or players?
I would think the players would.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because you're talking about, okay, on the scale of things, they're millionaires. The owners are billionaires, and they've got other assets. They're not just owners of a baseball team. They've got other business operations. So my thought would be it definitely affects the players more than it would the owners.
So I'm muted here. No, look, it long term, I think it hurts the players. The owners, their asset is not the revenue; it's the asset itself. Over time, the value of an organization is the asset. So if just pick the Pirates, if they're worth $1 billion today, and I don't know, hypothetical, in 20 years they might be worth $2.5 billion. So the appreciation of that is what the owners look at. Like, this is an asset. Now you have other guys like the Dodgers who go like, I don't care, I'm here to win. We're going to spend a lot of money. And that's just, some of these things are vanity projects for some of these owners, and they want to win, and they'll spend the money, and they'll run a deficit just because they can, but because the value of the brand is still going to return them on that investment. So they see these things very differently than the players. And the players, a Major League Baseball player could play many years and have a great run and a great amount of revenue coming in and income. They're looking at a gift horse in the mouth, in my estimation here.
All right, guys, we got to go to the top of the hour break. We're going to be right back. A little more discussion on baseball. Then we'll get into the individual teams. But you want to keep it right here. You're on Godzilla Wins. John Fredericks, Vince Mayako, Dan Hobgood, Chris Saxman. We'll be right back. Keep it on Godzilla Wins. Keep it right here.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
John Frederick.
It is the most egregious thing I've seen in a lifetime.
President Trump.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
When politics start getting wild,
They want to have every single thing that you don't want. Raise taxes, men and women's sports. They're going to open up their border.
Trump hits the speed dial.
Thank you for calling in on such short notice.
You came first, John.
Wake up with the John Frederick Show weekday morning, 6 Eastern, 5 Central on JFMN.TV, the massive J-Fred radio network, and all across the social.
You came first, John. Thank you very much, and you do a great job.
John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by West Virginia SportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh, yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
All right, it's great to have everybody back on Godzilla Wins. I'm John Fredericks, your host, and I'm going to be the host now for a while. Mitch Rogers taking over our West Virginia University Mountaineers tailgate pregame show starting on August 29th. He might be back here for a couple weeks, but after that, Mitch can't do like 4 hours of TV on a Saturday. So he'll be focused on that. I'm going to be here for the time being. God willing, good to have you with us. And look, this is a sports handicapping show, so just let everybody out there know that gambling is for entertainment purposes only. If you or someone you know has a serious gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER across the nation. And our picks are for entertainment purposes only, and only gamble responsibly and gamble what you can afford to lose. I've been hot on Godzilla Wins. Go to GodzillaWins.com. 8 out of 9 baseball winners over the last 3 days. I'm hot as a pepper. So you want to stay with me. I'll have my picks up today at 12 o'clock exactly, somewhere in there. Not exactly, but 12 to 12:10, somewhere in there. Want to introduce our panel back, the old ball coach Vince Mayako with us. On the left coast from Bakersfield, Chris Saxman live in Rich Vegas, as is Dan Hobgood, the producer of the John Fredericks Morning Show. So let's, we kind of talked about the lockout. We're going to see what happens. But meantime, we still got baseball in 26. So let's focus on that. The Tigers, everybody thought they were going to unload Skubal, but now he pitched, he's pitching really well. The Tigers have crept now. They're only 4 games out. They're back in the wild card hunt. And but he's not going to sign with them. So here's a dilemma. If you're the Tigers, do you take a shot, keep him there, and then he walks away, you get nothing? or do you get rid of him now and get a boatload of great minor league players that could come from the Dodgers or come from Milwaukee or come from one of these teams? What do you do? Let's start with Dan Hobgood.
Well, I know he said that he wants to stay in Detroit as far as I know. So, I mean, I don't think that the Tigers are going to end up trading him. That's just a gut hunch. But oh, dogs disagree with me. But
okay. I mean, if you don't think they're going to trade him, fine.
Yeah.
But are they going to sign him? Are they going to sign him?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, that's really what the question is. I'm going to stay in Detroit, sure, and then you go to free agent. Tigers get nothing, and then Saxman. Here's the rub here.
Right.
Here's what you got to factor in now: is there going to be a lockout in 27? If there's a lockout, he doesn't get anything. He doesn't get paid.
Right.
So now, and is somebody going to sign him and say, well, we're going to pay you anyway? I don't know if they can do that. What do you see here, Chris Saxman?
Well, the lockout is a big problem in negotiations right now, and teams are like going, do we keep him for another year? What do you do? I think they're going to wait and see how they play this week. If they fall further, if they lose 3 or 4, down the stretch here towards the deadline, they're probably going to move him. If they make a move and they're going up in the standings and say, let's roll the dice, let's keep the fans engaged. This is our last shot for the next year and a half. So let's do that and try to legitimately sign him to a long-term deal, recognizing he's still probably going to sign with LA or New York or Boston or wherever. That's just the reality and the nature of the beast. But if I'm a Tigers guy, I used to be as a kid growing up when we lived up there, but any fan base is going to want to sign the guy and be competitive long-term. That's just not how you build a franchise long-term. Look at the White Sox, right? In the same division. They've built a decent ball club there. I think you have to make the trades. You have to get, a lot of prospects and build out your team versus just one guy who plays every 5th game.
Coach?
I'm going to call it right now. He's an Arizona guy, even though he went to the University of Seattle. I think the Diamondbacks are going to make a push for him. The Diamondbacks are right there. I mean, they're not going to win the NL West, but they're a legitimate possibility to get a wild card. And could Skubal be a guy that could push them over the top and not only get a wild card, but make a deep run? Remember, just 2 or 3 years ago, Arizona was in the World Series.
Yeah. That's a great call.
So I think that's a possibility, a possible landing spot. And I think there is more. I think there would, if I'm an owner, knowing that, hey, we're shutting things down next year, let's get rid of some guys because I can get some minor league talent and nurture that and develop that. I think you'd be more enticed to make trades now if you're an owner, knowing that there's going to be a lockout coming.
I love that. I love that pick at Arizona, Coach, because the NL West, what people don't understand until you live out there, and obviously you do, the level of rivalry within that division is so intense. If you've never been to an Arizona LA game in Phoenix, you don't know what a rivalry is. That's off the page. I mean, it is one of the deepest rivalries that you just don't talk about in sports. And I've been to one. It was Sombrero night 10 years ago. I think this last week. That my sons and dad went to. We all got sombreros. It was fantastic. But the intensity of that rivalry, I think, is going to drive the Diamondbacks to be competitive against the Dodgers because the fans want it. The fans are tired of losing to the Dodgers.
And here's another thing too, Sax. Arizona is much more tax friendly than Michigan or California.
That's true.
Or Illinois or New York. It's the Florida of the West.
No, speaking of the Marlins, they're not that far out either. Wouldn't that be something if he went down to Miami?
Well, other than their 10-game losing streak.
They just dropped 10 in a row. They're fading.
Arizona and the Buccos have a big series coming up after this weekend. That could tell the tale for both teams as far as what they do at the trade deadline.
Sure.
We got through an hour and 10 minutes. Record. I was waiting for Hobgood to weave it in. Like, who the hell cares that there's a big series against Pittsburgh? Are you serious, Dan?
What's
this?
Hey,
well, there's a big series coming up. Arizona.
Well, it is a big series though because both teams are in the wild card race, and if one team sweeps the other, that could have a big impact on what teams decide to do at the deadline.
Yeah.
I think Coach nailed it. Arizona would be a great spot for him. plus the owner Kendrick. I know him personally. They're bajillionaires, so they got plenty of money to pay this guy. But
What about
you can get him now, not pay him in 27 because it's going to be a lockout. And then if you're the Tigers, you're going to get a boatload of minor league players, like Coach said, and develop them because they're going to be playing minor league baseball in 27.
what about Boston?
Yeah, great spot.
Let me talk about streaks. You want to ride a streak, and all of a sudden they're in playoff contention. They're actually qualified for the playoffs now. We've written the Red Sox off 3 months ago, and all of a sudden they're threatening. You're going, if I'm the Boston Red
Here's
Sox
the only
guy,
thing, Sax. Here's one thing that I think is like sometimes when you're on a roll like Boston, why change anything up right now?
Oof, right?
Right? Even though on paper bringing Scooble in or a Robbie Ray makes sense, it just affects the dynamics of that clubhouse.
How old is Scooble? This is a rhetorical question. I just looked it up.
Look it up. You're there.
He's 29. He's 29. And so if there's a lockout next year, that's his age 30 year. Then he's into his 30s, and pitchers do start to decline in their 30s. So it's just something else to factor in for teams if they're trying to decide what to do, weighing in this looming lockout.
And he had some arm issues earlier in the year too.
Yeah.
But the question is he a rental or is he a trade and sign? And that's the dilemma the Tigers face right now.
I unload him if I'm the Tigers. I build my farm system because I'm not going to say you're not going to have enough money to sign him. There's bad blood there. The way they handled the arbitration with him was horrible. Oh, he's not going to continue to play with the Tigers. So I don't know if I'm a Tigers fan. I want to get max value, go forward, become the next White Sox, Astros, whatever. When they lost 100 games 3 times consecutive, and let's build our team up. And hopefully, if there's a salary cap, a lot of these players now they'll be able to maintain. But there's other pitchers on the market: Angels, Reed Detmers, and Jose Soriano. Angels are sellers; they're out. Detmers is having a great season. Somebody's going to grab him. Who do you think it'll be?
Well, some of the before mentioned teams, I'm sure.
Whoever wants to spend the kind of money that they don't want to spend. I mean, this is an arms race right now.
Right.
This is nothing to do with bats. This is all about bullpen help and starting pitching, and that's what pitching and defense is what this thing is going to come down to. Who wants to make the play before the lockout is the variable here. I think, John, you keep bringing that up, and it's brilliantly so. And the math has to be: are we going to make a run at this because we're not going to have any business for the next year and a half? What are we going to do? Like who's strapped and who can withstand this kind of lack of revenue?
Here's something that they never do this, and it makes you wonder: is this the year that the Tampa Rays decide, you know what, we're going to make some trades here to get better? Usually Tampa will end up making trades to kind of like get rid of their upcoming free agents. Is this year, knowing that there's a lockout next year, the Rays could be saying, this might be our one shot right here. Let's go get a Scooble. Let's get a Robbie Ray. Let's get somebody from the Angels. And really, we're gonna make a deep run, and we're gonna win it all because there's no baseball next year anyway. I don't know.
And another one I really like here, and I hate saying this, is the Washington Nationals. Their offense is legit.
Yes,
and
legit.
A starting pitcher like Scooble would really bring that franchise around and make them a long-term competitive. And they might be in a financial situation to do a trade and sign.
Yeah, they might be. I mean
that in that division. I think Scooble's the headline here, right? That's the one, and I think it's just going to be, it's going to be a hell of a week in Major League Baseball coming up with the trade deadline.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Twins moved Joe Ryan. I think they're still in it. I don't think the Marlins moved Sandy Alcantara, even though they lost 10 in a row. They're still in it. I mean, they were in a playoff spot. They got to figure that out. I don't. Max Scherzer, who knows what's going on with his arm, but I think Detmers is probably the easiest one to get, and he's had a really good season. He's good, and then Soriano with the Angels. he's controllable to 28. So if you're the Astros, that's a guy you want. They're not going to sign any pitchers long term. So I could see the Astros getting Soriano, especially now. I think Arrighetti went down last night. They don't have any starting. They got the third worst ERA in the major leagues, so they need pitching bad. I could see them bringing in a Soriano.
But the coach's previous point about chemistry, I was a chemistry guy on teams. I just like there's certain guys that just make the club better just because they're sitting on the bench next to you and they're engaged and they're just like there's just certain guys that do that. They're glue guys, and you have to evaluate that as part of your organization as well. And there's a plus minus in that category too. And I have no idea what Scooble brings or these other pitchers bring into the clubhouse and the bullpen, but it's critically important going down the stretch, no question.
College baseball is really going to be interesting next season as well. You got so many of these players that got drafted that we know that we followed in the College World Series and through the regionals. So many of them are now in these minor league systems. And as you follow college baseball, you then follow the players that get drafted. Right, it's just the natural extension. And so I think filling the void for Major League Baseball, if there's a lockout, I think college baseball has the potential in 27 to be bigger and bigger than ever, and it keeps getting bigger, right? Because if they're playing these super regionals and these World Series in end of May, June, well, there's no Major League Baseball. That's going to be bigger than ever. Don't you guys agree with that?
Well, here's my wildest wild card in this whole conversation, John, and you may not like it because we're going to go into politics here. Imagine after the World Series, and they're still talking about a lockout. The President of the United States calls them into the White House and says, we're going to figure this out today. The American public and the nation are not going to go through this. And he pulls them into the White House, and you bring in the heavy. He did this. He obviously played into the World Cup, for crying out loud, and not that many Americans really follow in on this. But I think he's that kind of a wild card president who would actually do this, going down the stretch, because that is going to be the stretch of the midterms as well. And what a great way to say we're not going to do this. We're not going to have these fights, and we're going to get it done now. He's a sports guy. He owned a franchise in the USFL, and he likes that. Yeah.
Let's be honest, Sax. If President Trump doesn't get involved, does the NC2A have this policy in place now? Probably not. Probably not. We're still talking about the same thing, right? So he kind of got the ball rolling with the NC2A, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. That very well may happen.
If you're in that political shop, what are you doing? It's not like he's going to be quiet on it. I mean, he weighs into everything. Why would he stay out of it? I mean, just follow the trend line here, right? And frankly, as a sports guy, I would welcome it. Like, yeah, get in there. We don't want this.
Does it. I think he'll bring him in. I think you're right. I think he brings him in the Oval Office. He'll get the media there. I'll be definitely in the pool that day, even if I'm not in the rotation. I'll ask him to put me in, and he'll get him in. He'll get them all in the room, and he'll bring the media in, and he'll have a public negotiation. I mean, that's what he'll do.
And he'll threaten their monopoly status.
Yep, exactly.
He'll threaten their exemption. And you don't think he won't pull that one? Look what else he's pulled. My God.
Yeah. No, he'll do it. I don't think Trump is going to want to see a lockout, and just the turmoil it's going to bring everybody through. I think you're right. But I tell you what, college baseball, though, back to that, it just continues to grow, and even the draft got, I think, the higher ratings it has ever gotten. That one day draft, like whoever paid attention to the MLB draft. Wasn't even on TV, right? You read in the paper somebody. Now it's like national TV. It's a day and a half, and it got the highest ratings it's ever gotten. And college baseball it's exploded, and hopefully that's going to continue on. And the money that's being made by these players all across sports is incredible. Which brings us to I had to laugh, guys, at the SEC threat the other day. I just laughed at it because they hold all the cards, and they were like, Jackson brought up either. They were like, excuse me, why exactly do we need you?
Right.
Like, we're just going to go off and do our own thing, and you guys get it all worked out legally. And, thanks for coming. Nice to know you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Right.
Like, why do they need the NCAA?
They don't. They don't. I've said it for well over a year now on this show, and more than 1 year on your weekly show, your daily show during the week. You know, it's math. It's just simple math, and they got to be saying the SEC. That's cute. Okay, what are we really talking about here? It is the point of diminishing returns has not been met yet, but they can very quickly pull the cord on this one. And frankly, I would welcome it. It would be a great shakeup in collegiate sports, and I think we're overdue for it.
You know, one thing in that SEC news gathering, basically the coaches, because now the SEC is going to play 9 conference games as opposed to 8. Usually they'll play a cupcake towards what the rivalry week in mid-November. But all the coaches are saying, hey, now that we're playing 9 conference games, we should get more teams into the college football playoffs. And it's hard to argue with that, right? It's hard to argue with that.
Look, I mean, I think they're right. Let's get more teams in. Who cares? I mean, let's if you see the way baseball went, you had a lot of upsets, Troy and things like that. You never know what's going to happen. You give all these teams a shot, and then you're not arguing about who's on the bubble, who should have gotten in, BYU or this one or that one. You basically, you play the game. And we saw, look, how many upsets did we see in, what was it, the first round of the teams that had the week off, right? They all got beat by the lower end teams that didn't have the week off on the road, right? We saw all that. So, any given Saturday, just like any given Sunday. All right.
Well, here's the question for the panel, John.
Right.
What is the first collegiate game in London?
I don't know.
Great question.
They're going to expand their universe. People who came over for the World Cup, they went to the early games. They went to Auburn. They're like, my God, they've got 90,000 people in this stadium in rural Alabama, and they've got an eagle flying through the. Look, UVA and NC State were scheduled to play a game in Rio in August or early September, like start the season.
That's true.
And I went, oh my God, wait a second. They're taking the game on the road just like the NFL is. So the NCAA or the SEC is going to start looking at these new markets, new eyes on the prize, because the people who came over here from Europe to watch the World Cup are going, they've got another game here, folks, and they show up 5 hours early to start drinking. Maybe we've got to rethink the way we view our football,
No doubt about it.
Although that game was rescheduled for stateside, so I guess the ticket sales weren't off the chain.
No, I think it was security risk because.
Okay.
I think Brazil's part of the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, Saudi, South Africa, etc.
Can do. Quick word from our sponsors. When I get back, though, let's go over some of these MLB teams, kind of get a feel for where are we at, who's in it, who's not. Marlins losing 10 in a row. Boston has won, 15 straight, 16 out of 17 to climb back in it. Astros only 2 games out, as bad as they are. It's just a lot of surprises. And we all thought the Reds were going to be the surprise team. They're toast. What the hell happened there? All coming up on Godzilla Wins. Quick word from our sponsors. Al Green and the Chip. We'll be right back.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Lux Pier 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
And they're off. This summer, the Thunder returns to Colonial Downs Racetrack. Live thoroughbred racing June 25th through September 7th. Feel the excitement. Hear the roar of the crowd. Experience Virginia's premier horse racing destination every Thursday through Sunday all summer long. Bring the whole family for Family Fun Sundays, packed with activities for all ages. Parking? Free. General admission? Free. Memories? Priceless. Make Colonial Downs Racetrack your new summer fun time tradition. Get tickets and race day info now at colonialdowns.com. Pennsylvania's big casinos want it all. Your money, your games, your choice. They rake in millions, then lobby Harrisburg to shut down the small businesses that dare to compete. Bars, VFWs, local spots, crushed so the casino giants can get even richer. They want to rig the system against you, but Pesomatic is fighting back. Skill games, fair play, real competition. No monopolies, no backroom deals. Just your right to play and win. Call Harrisburg now. Stand with small business. Stand with Pesomatic. Pesomatic, leveling the playing field. Paid for by Pesomatic.
Right now, download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play and get the entire Mountaineer sports world in the palm of your hand. Right now, get notified when new stories drop about your favorite Mountaineers teams and athletes. Download the WV Sports Nation app right now. Get updates on next level Mountaineers like Weatherholt and Joe Mazzulla. All that and more right in your pocket right now. Download the new WV Sports Nation app from the Apple Store or Google Play. Download the app right now. Godzilla Wins, where you get the best insight and best information on how to win the most money ever.
Guess what? GodzillaWins.com. Let's talk more winners.
Back to the show.
All right, it's good to have you back. Let's go to Major League Baseball, where we've got wild card races all over the place. A record number of teams still in it within 4 or 5 games. I guess if you're 4 games out of the wild card and you're approaching the end of July, you're still basically technically got a shot. Let's go right through this. Start with the American League East. Just in the standings, Tampa continuing to win. They're impossible to beat at home. They won again at home last night. They trounced San Diego. Somebody that they played. I don't even know who. They trounced them, and they got a two game lead over the Yankees. Now Boston only 6.5 back. Tampa, it's just got to be one of the biggest stories in the major leagues. One of the lowest payrolls. Kevin Cash continues to win with his team. Their record at home, guys, is unbelievable. They're 20 games over 500 at home, 35-15. You can't beat them at the Trop. What's going on with Tampa? What moves did they make? And are they legit, Coach Miyako?
Oh, they're absolutely legit. And like we said, I think in the previous segment, I think they're a team that in past years, they haven't done this so much, but I think they make some trades here in the next week to get better, because this might be their one shot. Speaking of the AL East, I think those 3 teams, without question, I don't doubt any of you will argue with me on this. The 3 best teams in the AL are Tampa, the Yankees, and the Red Sox.
100%.
And they all reside in the AL East. And everybody else is just living a dream if they're gonna make it to the World Series. It's gonna be one of those 3 teams without question, because probably 1, 2, maybe all 3 will end up making moves to even get better in the next week.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you look at the other divisions. You go to the Central. White Sox got beat by the Astros last night. They have no bullpen. Astros exploited that in the 6th inning, I think, or 7th inning, down 5-0. They put up an 8 spot. They got a 1.5 lead over Cleveland. I look at the Guardians. I watch them a lot. All hat, no cattle. Without Ramirez, I don't know how this team keeps winning. I mean, they're just not that good, especially with Ramirez out there only bat. I see them fading, guys.
Look, when you look at the standings versus the run differentials, which for the average fan, if you want to go on the ESPN app, it's a great way to start engaging in the playoff race, because you've been doing other things and now it's time for playoff baseball. If you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, they are 17 games over 500 in the AL East, which means they have to play the Yankees and the Red Sox more than anybody else, right? So that means they're at the highest level of competition.
Right.
They only have a run differential of 38. When I look at that, I go, that is quality coaching.
Yeah.
They are winning games that they otherwise should not be winning on the talent level and the payroll level. So they're the anomaly, I think, in Major League Baseball right now. They're playing such a high quality level with a much lower payroll, and they're pulling out wins. That to me says either obviously bullpen, but great coaching, and that's the differentiation I think in the Tampa Bay Rays.
And great,
which they don't get enough credit for. Coaches don't get enough credit for the difference they make in the game.
Yeah, 100%. It's hard to argue with what Kevin Cash has done with a conglomeration of young players that they churn year after year with the lowest payroll, and they're always competitive.
Yeah,
I mean, he's done a remarkable job, and I know a lot of the players don't like him. I remember when they traded a couple of their pitchers away, they blasted him and said, it's Kevin's way or the highway. Well, yeah. It's like the guy on Indiana, right? Google me, I win. That's basically what
right. He's Signetti. He's Signetti for the AL East.
Kind of, right?
I guess. I really don't follow them that much. They're not. I mean, obviously, they're not on the media market here. And if I'm watching baseball, I'm not watching the Tampa Rays at the Trop. Let's be honest. It's a visual disaster.
Well, they've punched above their weight class for quite a while, even going back to the Joe Madden days. I mean, it's just they're like the Milwaukee of the American League. Just they're always there. They're always there.
Tigers 5 games back in the Central. They're making their move. Only 3 games, I think, out of the wild card now. Twins 4.5 back. But I watched the Chicago game last night. Not all of it when I got home. They got a pretty good ball club. I think their problem is no bullpen. Once the Astros got into their pen, that game was over. So I'm not sure where they're going here. But look, they're 5 games. 500 after losing 100 games 3 seasons in a row. So you've got to like what they're doing. Maybe they hang on. You look at the Twins. I think the Twins have played better ball than anybody thought. Remember, at this point last season, they had a major fire sale, and I complimented the Twins ownership for doing a fire sale the right way. It was a fire sale. They got rid of everybody except their best hitter, Puxton, whatever his name, Buxton. And they kept Joe Ryan, got rid of everybody else. And now they're right there, 3.5 games out. So I wouldn't count them out of that division. But then you go to the West. What a clown show you got going on there. Texas in first place with a 500 record. Seattle 2 games under 500. Astros 3 games under 500. And they're all within a game and a half of each other. Like, nobody wants to win that division, guys.
John, I think if you really look at it, especially looking at last year, Seattle was an inning away from going to the World Series. I mean, and you talk about a huge disappointment. Now, if they can make a run here and sneak in, maybe they make a run. But they just don't. I mean, Cal Raleigh has just fell off he doesn't even look like the same player that he did last year. I mean, legitimate was second behind Aaron Judge was a lot of people think he should have been the MVP of the
I thought he should have been. I think he should have been.
He's just had a terrible year offensively. And they just look like a shell of themselves from last year.
And they
second worst offense in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
What, Chris?
Second worst offense in Major League Baseball, only to Toronto on runs scored.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
419 runs scored this year, but they're still positive. The two teams left standing in the American League, Toronto and Seattle, they have the worst run score in the league. Toronto has only scored 409 runs, and I'll just you run down the list. 409 for Toronto. Washington Nationals 569 runs scored this year. That's 160 more runs than the Toronto Blue Jays with their lineup
in 100 games. In 100, which means they're scoring almost 2 more runs a game than the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
the
Blue Jays, who were in the World Series last year against the Dodgers.
I know, and took them to the final pitches.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it was exciting.
So it's just, and then Seattle added players, and it's just been a dog. So
I think what Coach brought up earlier, though, it's a lot of this stuff is chemistry, guys. The day in, day out grind of the Major League Baseball, the travel, and are you getting along? And is the vibe great? That's the element of coaching too that Tampa Bay does quite well. Obviously, they don't like the coach, but damn it, they're winning. Okay, what are we talking about here? Dave Roberts at the Dodgers puts the lineup out there. We're going to win. Which this lineup, he's a great coach. But that extra special sauce that comes on the bench every single day, there's certain glue guys that make the
You
game
know,
we're showing up for.
yeah, I want to throw this out here, and I know the Dodgers are at a totally different level, and I'm not even counting them. But you get two teams like the Mariners and the Blue Jays, who obviously made deep runs last year into late October. Does that have residuals the next year as far as, wow, our off season wasn't as long. We played meaningful games. They were grinders. And you just wonder, coming off of two seasons like the Mariners and the Blue Jays had, does that affect them in a negative standpoint the next year?
Yeah, that's
possible.
Right. That's the whole question, right? You mean, you've got, and that goes into the conversation that we go back to Scooble. All right, let's look at the numbers. And this is where baseball gets so fascinating. Who has the best pitching staff on runs scored in the major leagues? The Los Angeles Dodgers. We talk about their offense. They've only given up 380 runs the whole year. What's the next team? This is going to blow your mind. The Boston Red Sox. So if you're the Red Sox and you've got one shot to make this to get back up at the top of the league before you go into the lockout, I think you make a move for Scooble. And you could be a legitimate threat to beat the Dodgers in the World Series. What story would that be?
Be great.
Huge.
Huge.
Huge. Huge.
Huge. All right, who's going to win?
A lot of good guys play this game. They could go deep into the playoffs.
Who's going to win the AL West?
AL West? Who cares?
I do.
Well, because Houston. Okay, Houston. Who cares? Next.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Texas.
Dan.
I'm sucking up to the boss. Houston Astros. Let's go. Let's go, Stros.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Stros are going to win the division. We suck, and we're only two games out. So therefore, that's my math. When you suck and you're only 2 games out. All right, let's get to the National League. Atlanta, started off like they were going to beat everybody, world beaters of all time. Then they started losing. Now they're starting to win again. So they might go after Scooble. They know they need another frontline starter. We'll see what happens at the deadline. Biggest disappointment to me, you guys have said it's Seattle. I think it's the Phillies. I mean, they came in this season with all this fanfare. I keep waiting for them to catch fire. They just don't. And now they're still 6.5 games back, I think, or 5.5. They're going to make the wild card. But when is the Phillies here going to catch fire?
Well, they did. I think they were down. Weren't they out like 12 games out at one time?
Yes.
Yeah. So they had made a little bit of leeway into that lead with the Braves. And I think, really when you look at the Phillies, I think they're under the mindset right now, we don't have to win the East. As long as we get into the dance,
right.
We've been there before. We know what it takes. We can make a deep run. So with that said, John, do the Phillies, are they a buyer right now?
Yes.
They probably are. They probably are.
Yes. No doubt about it.
That's their weak. The weakness is the pitching. And then when was it Sanchez? When he gets on the mound, forget it. It's a lockdown win. The guy's just unbeatable. And I say there's a lamenting Pirates fan every time we play him. Was like, oh well, bet the Phillies to cover.
They swept us the last time, right?
All right. So look, guys, if you're a Pirates fan, you've got to be really ecstatic. Here it is, July. What's the date? July 25th. You guys are 2 games out of the wild card. Every single game right now is a meaningful game.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time the Pirates have had meaningful games going into August? Years.
2018 at the earliest.
2018. So you got to go back.
At the earliest.
8 years to go back where you turn a Pirates game on as a Pirates fan today. You go to the park, whatever it's called. What's not
PNC.
Right? PNC. You go to the park. You got a meaningful game, right? 2 games out. You're right there. You've got one of the best pitchers in the major leagues. You guys score enough runs to compete. Your bullpen is a clown car. We all get that. Are the Pirates going to make a move here and get a reliever?
No. They're the Pirates. I'm just kidding. I think they make some moves, but they're not great moves. I think they might be playing more towards Coach Vince's reality here of chemistry. Not gonna. They'll take a flyer on a guy, but they're not gonna bet the future, because the future is their talent that's coming up, and it's substantial, and they know it, and the league knows it, and they're just not going to trade but so many players away. They have enough talent that they can trade away and get someone. Of course, Mason Miller has been the the rumor going around that they're going to make a move on Mason Miller.
Padres are asking too much.
Yeah, but the Padres. Well, we'll see what they get. But because they need a lot, they can get a lot, especially with Mason Miller. But again, that's a sign and trade kind of deal. It's a rental, so how much you get for a rental, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, John, it's great to be a Pirates fan right now, especially after the last several years. My kids are talking to me again because they can root legitimately for a baseball team and feel good about it. It's just so much better than it has been. But if they solve the bullpen, they're a legit threat to go down the stretch here with any other team, because they do now. They take every team to the mat. And it's exciting to watch. Last night was Cubs. They went to extra innings and lost 3-2.
3-2. Yep.
Yeah,
I thought they should have taken a shot with McCullers. The Milwaukee got him. I mean, the Brewers, McCullers is done with the Astros. $85 million over 5 years. I think he's pitched 6 or 7 games in that span because he's been hurt. So Milwaukee took a flyer with him. He pitched good the other night. But Milwaukee, I mean, they're battling the Dodgers for the best record in the major leagues. We sat here at the beginning of the season, and I said they can't keep trading their best players and winning the division. Eventually, it just grinds itself out. And here they are again. They traded their best player, and they're winning the division again. And now they're rivaling the Dodgers with the best record in Major League Baseball. How the hell do they do this?
Yeah, once again, we talked about this before. Pat Murphy, man, you got to give him credit.
Hell
Manager
yeah.
of the Brewers.
100%.
But, you go back in time, though, Craig Counsell was the same way when he managed the Brewers as well, too. And he hasn't had the success with the Cubs that he did. Makes you wonder, does Craig Counsell regret going to the Cubs and not staying with Milwaukee? I'm sure his wife is happy with the move. I'm sure his bank account increased dramatically. But the Brewers are a fascinating. They're like, I saw one of you guys mentioned, they're the Rays of the National League, right? Yeah, exactly.
What a ratings disaster that would be. Brewers and Diamond, the Rays, in the World Series.
I would love that. I would love that. I would love
No,
that.
you wouldn't watch it. You wouldn't
I'd watch it.
I would. Yeah, I would. Just as a minor market fan, I would love that.
How about that going into the talks here?
Well, here's the problem. I mean,
the
the unfortunate thing for the Pirates. I mean, the Pirates they're good this year, but they're good in a year where everybody is in the hunt still for the wild card. We've talked about they're a buyer. We haven't mentioned that many names in terms of sell. Like, there's not a whole lot of really high end talent available.
Well, this is where the players can go. It's competitive enough now because we have so many teams competing for the wild card. Why would you want to mess that up? You can't argue competitiveness because so many teams are in the hunt going down the trade deadline. Look, the trade deadline in my house
expanded the wild card.
Funeral.
They just expanded the wild. I mean, but
they
that's
did.
going to be the player's argument. But
Right.
it's a false choice. Okay,
Right.
but
Right.
yeah, and we all know that. But then you look at some of these other teams that are still in it. The Cardinals, fire sale. Cardinals only 2.5 back. Marlins, even after losing 10 in a row, and they're going to get beat again tonight. They're just playing bad baseball, guys. I'm betting the Padres again tonight. When a team is playing bad ball, you just ride it out. They're just not. I've watched their last 5 games. Horrible. They just it's you can tell they're going to lose. It just happens to teams. So, but then you got Washington is only 3 games out. And I got to tell you, we've sworn off road games, right? As an Astro fan, my whole family, we're done with that. After we went to the 3 Atlanta games and they got beat, the first 2? No, we're done. Except we made an exception. Washington, 3 stops on the Metro, 15 minutes from our house, door to door, one of the most beautiful ballparks you can be in, right in the middle of the city. And they're a fun team to watch because they're never out of a game. This team scores like 9 runs a game. They're a fun team to watch. And I think if they get in the playoffs, they're probably going to beat somebody because they can score 10 runs a game. Nobody on that team, 1-9, can't hit. So they're a fun team to watch. If you like offense, you got to be a Washington fan. They have no pitching, but look, they just score runs. They're in a hitter-friendly ballpark. But I have to say, going to the national games is a lot of fun. And
it's an average stadium.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Average stadium at best. Architecturally, visually, substandard in my estimation. They blew it on that one. because their view is like an apartment building. Look at that. The apartments are over there.
Well, Nats and Buccos, they're scoring runs this year. I think Bucks are second only to the Nats in offense. I mean, I think the Buccos. Offense. I think the Buccos have scored more runs already this year than they did all of last year. Somebody could check me up on that, but I think that's true.
No, they've got a great lineup, and it's getting healthier. They're bringing back Horowitz.
Yeah, they're doing this without Connor Griffin, without O'Neill Cruz. With half of their best bats are injured.
If they're that healthy and they can platoon, and the managers can manage this game with a full lineup like they have, with the explosiveness of O'Neill Cruz and the base paths, and his better discipline at the plate, and they get some pitching, that bullpen. Well,
this is what's unfortunate about this year. I think another year they might be able to get a Mason Miller, but there's so many buyers at the deadline. I don't think the Bucks are going to be able to outbid. Yeah. That's the problem.
And they'll wisely not outbid.
Correct.
Because they're
not going to mortgage the future.
This year. The fans are happier this year.
Yeah.
They'll get some, and they'll go, well, maybe we can plug the lineup here. We got a good deal, a good value deal here. We got to think long term because this is a long term play. So exactly. I'm fine. We do it. I'm fine.
Yeah. The future is bright in Pittsburgh. Future's bright.
Yeah, if the Pirates make the playoffs, and even if they get swept in the first round, 2-0, they've had a really good year, and it's something to build upon.
I think, Coach, I got to tell you, I can't imagine that happening with their pitching.
If the Pirates could stay right around the 500 mark on September 1, they're in it.
Yeah,
and it's looking like that's going to be the case. They're going to be hovering right around that 500 mark, and we'll see what happens in the month of September.
The thing is, nobody's going to want to play the Pirates in the wild card series with their starting pitching. I mean, that's the thing. I don't see any situation where they do get swept because their starting pitching is good.
They're dangerous. They're a very dangerous ball club in a small series. 3-game series could be deadly. But for the fans' perspective, we're playing with house money now. The ownership knows it. If they're in September and they're in competition, coach, as you know, that is playoff baseball, right?
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you guys, your Pirates fans' key to winning the first wild card best of 3. If you've locked this down by the final weekend, nobody's going to want to play them because you're not going to pitch Mitch Keller. And you're not going to pitch Skeens, right? So somebody's playing on Sunday. This series is going to start Tuesday. And if you got to face Skeens and Keller back-to-back, Pirates are going to win that series. I don't care who they're playing.
And Ashcraft. I think
the only problem with that, John.
They got 3 legit starters. The problem is if they go into that weekend and they got to win all those games and you're getting Skeens, Ashcraft, and Mitch, and then, somebody's got to come back with 2 days or 3 days rest. They're just not going to be as effective. So I think
they'll load up their starters into the bullpen, though. They'll go Jared Jones and Majinski as they do now, and then probably Ashcraft and Skeens to close this thing out. I mean, imagine that's the math that changes, right, Coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of siding with John, though. I mean, if they're playing a 3-game series, I don't know who their last 3-game series of the season is with, but it's possible Skeens might have to pitch that Sunday game.
Right.
And would he even be available for the best 2 out of 3?
No,
not
if
so it just depends upon how the rotation falls at the end of that.
Find out, Dan, who the last 3 games are with home or away and who they're playing
at the Tigers. They finish up Royals, Cardinals, Tigers. Whoop whoop. Points.
That is not so bad.
It's not so bad.
On the road though.
Royals at Pittsburgh, Cardinals at Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh at Detroit.
That is really not so bad.
So look, they can go to Detroit, and maybe the Tigers are out of it, right? So the Tigers don't care.
Right. And maybe Skubal's not there either.
Right? But if they can go to Detroit and they're not, and they don't have to win any of those games, they will win the first round of the playoffs because then all their pitchers are rested. Boom, boom, boom. They all come back and good. I don't care who they're playing in that first round. You're right. Nobody's going to want to face them.
They have a very favorable September. Getting there is the problem.
Yeah.
They've got some tough games.
Starting with Cubs, Diamondbacks right now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they've had a run here, but that September is a very favorable. I mean, I think they have the Angels, in September. Unfortunately, the Giants. So they go Giants, Angels, White Sox, Cubs, Brewers. Oops, and then you finish with Royals, Cardinals, and Tigers.
All right.
They swept the Brewers just recently, though.
Oh, they're a look. We get some bullpen help. We're legit.
You got to get a bullpen. You got to get bullpen help, and you got some sellers. Mets are sellers, Angels are sellers, Royals are sellers. Royals have no bullpen either, but just get some legit guy. You're not going to get Mason Miller. Get somebody legit, and look, you might get somebody. The Astros need an outfield bat bad. I mean, that is our number one thing. We got 3 guys in the outfield hitting 190. Okay, you just can't win. So Myers went to the minor leagues. The other guy, Laprofino, went to Sugar Land. They're all hitting the $185. So they're going to need an outfield bat. You guys have got bats. Washington's got bats. So we're going to have to trade one of our middle relievers. Maybe it's the King. Maybe it's an Okert. They got to trade somebody because they got to get a bat. Forget pitching. Our pitching's equally as bad, but at least we got guys coming back from being hurt. But you can't win anything with 3 outfielders hitting a combined 197. You're just not going to win.
No, I think a lot of these teams are going to be looking up the matchups down the stretch, and this is where the data analytics and the teams really comes into factor. And you look at and they're scouting these pitchers, these bullpen pitchers. Who's going to be the best matchup against certain batters and certain lineups going down the stretch that you otherwise might not be thinking of. Like, why would they get that guy? It's like, well, he lines up so well and he's pitched so well against these particular teams and these particular players. That's where I think the magic is in a lot of these transactions. Because you have to have more value than the guy who's been dominant like a Mason Miller. Okay, if you can't afford him, you've got to scratch together a lineup that can get there, and you also have to be thinking about if these teams they're AAA and AA pitchers as well who are starters now, but might want to come up and get a 2 or 3 game inning relief guy like the Blue Jays did last year.
We'll see what happens.
That's the beauty of it.
The trade deadline now is 7 days away. So what? It's July 31st, right? So what do we got? Six days.
This was usually the funeral week for us Pirates fans.
I know, and now you're buyers. I mean, how exciting!
Oh, it's unconscionable. We're just out of our minds.
We're gonna get to our picks in a minute, guys. But because I've been allowed to host a show today for various reasons, I really got to give a shout out to my Maryland Terrapins. I know we finished next to last in the Big Ten, but I really want to give a shout out, Vince, to our head coach. And I wish you were here because it's going to be a fun season. I just want to give a shout out to Matt Swope. They had a horrible culture last season. He jettisoned out by either cutting or not signing or letting people leave. But out of the 35 kids on the roster, 8 are returning. I mean, think about that. 8 are returning. 3 of them were injured. My son being one of them. So 27 to 35 kids turned over. He's determined to change the culture. It took balls. They don't have NIL money. It's not like they're throwing around LSU or Texas Tech or Big 12 SEC money, ACC money. And he's just turned the whole thing over. And my son was telling me yesterday that a lot of the new kids they've gotten in, they're 5th-year seniors from D3 and D2. He said they're coming in. They're in the Big Ten. They're fired up. They're playing D4 baseball. And he said the difference in the culture, Dad, from when I first got there last season to these new players this season, he said it's like night and day. And hopefully he's going to be part of that leadership. But I tell you what, in a Power 4 conference, to turn over 80% of your players in 1 year, I mean, Coach, that takes balls. And I just hope it works out for Matt. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. And, Maryland, they've maybe not in recent years, but you go back 10 years ago, they've got some history in their program. It's been good baseball with Maryland over the years when they were in the ACC. But, I'm rooting for them. Rooting for Joe, of course.
Well, we just got to get
go Joe.
We got to get in the Big Ten tournament. Purdue got in it last year. Everybody had picked Purdue to finish last, bunch of no names. They got in it and almost won it. and then they
Yeah.
got in the regional. So you
Right.
just got to get in that Big Ten tournament. But I'm really looking forward to our season. I haven't seen my son this excited since he was a freshman at West Virginia. He's very excited. So I think that's a good sign. Let's get to our picks for today. I am on fire, 8 out of 9. Here's who I'm betting today. I like the Tigers over the Royals. I'm going to lay 162. I don't have a problem laying that if I can win. Tigers are hot. They're at home. Royals, easy to bet against. They're just not a very good team. Tigers are starting to get hot. I like that game big time. I'm betting the Padres plus 114 over Miami. I don't care who's pitching. I don't care who's at home. I've watched the last 5 Marlin games. They've lost 10 in a row. Keep fading them until they start winning. They're just not playing good baseball. And when team goes bad, they go bad. Throwing the ball to the wrong base, making errors at times they shouldn't do it, running out of the hat taps in the third inning. It's just not good baseball. I like the Padres there. I think right now, Boston minus 109 at home. They just keep winning. I mean, they have their streak broken now. Blue Jays can't hit. So I like Boston there. And I'm betting the Rays at home again over the Guardians. Guardians all hat, no cattle. So I'm going to stick with the Rays. 20 games over 500 at home. And I'm only laying $122. I'll take that bet all day. Those are my picks for today. Guys, go.
Yeah, I agree with that one. And plus, Nick Martinez going for the Rays today, 9-2, 2.59 ERA. I like the Pirates today over the Cubs with Paul Skeens. And believe it or not, I like my Giants today because they got Robbie Ray going in what could be his last start as a Giant. 8-6 record, 3.3 ERA. When I look at games, I usually go with starting pitching. Those are the 3 that line up best for me. Giants, Pirates, Rays.
Gosh, go ahead, Saxy.
Yeah, love the race, but since we were talking about the Pirates, I like staying on my own team because that's the team I know the best. Skeens has pitched a lot better. He's figured out what was going wrong in the first part of the month and the end of June. His ERA is down to 2.19 over the last several games. He's just getting guys out, and I like Skeens and the Pirates here, and I would take him to cover that 1.5.
You know, the problem with laying 1.5 at home, I rarely do that because you only get 8 at bats.
Right.
That's number one. And I rarely do that. And when I do, I lose. I bet the Tigers last night, minus 1.5, a light hitting team, 8 innings. They won 2-1. I tore the ticket up. Not good. That's why I don't like laying 1.5 at home teams that only get 8.
Here's why, John. This is the second best offense in Major League Baseball that only scored 2 runs last night in 10 innings. This team barrels up, and I think, especially with a right-handed pitcher going up against that left-handed lineup, I think they're going to be.
So but the money line at home, this is why I think your bet is a bad value. The money line at home is only minus 122. Where are you getting Skeens minus only 122 at home? I mean, that's a pretty good money line bet, because I'm betting 120 to win 100. And if I win the game 2-1, I cash in. I'm not arguing with your bet. I just don't think.
No, look, John, I never said I was smart at gambling.
Right? All right, Hobgood, go ahead.
I hope
this is my team. I'm going to do it with my money.
I hope
it's entertainment value.
I hope that Coach and Sachs are right. I think the Cubs win tonight. And the reason I say that is that the Pirates, for as good as they are offensively, are markedly less good offensively against left-handed pitching. And that's why they didn't score more than 2 runs last night in extra innings. And they're up against another left-hander tonight. And even with Skeens, who's pitching better, and I don't expect him to be the problem, I just worry that they're not going to generate enough offense against left-handed pitching, and the left-handed pitching of the Cubs in particular has been difficult for the Pirates. So I think the Cubs win. I hate to say it.
Is that your bet tonight? Is that your pick? Cubs?
Yeah, Cubs.
Okay. Well, we're done, guys. You got my picks. Follow me on Godzilla Wins. Just go to GodzillaWins.com. I'll have my picks up at 12 o'clock. I've won 8 out of 9. I'm on fire. And just go to GodzillaWins.com, GodzillaWins.com. Great show, guys. Thanks for joining us. The old ball coach, Vince Mayako. He's going with his Giants tonight, and Robbie Ray. I just might take a shot there. Tough to bet the Giants, but I just might do it. Chris Saxman, the indelible Chris Saxman, it's good to have you back. It was great to see you in person last weekend at our suite, and it's good to see your lovely bride, Michelle. Chris, thanks for being with us. Give her my best and my love. And, of course, Danny Boy Hobgood. Well, we're going to see him bright and early, 6 a.m. on Monday. Dan, thanks for joining us. This has been another great edition of Godzilla Wins. Don't forget, we'll be back Monday, 6 a.m. Keep it right here. Jay Delsing with golf is next. Al,